There is a fear many parents are carrying now. It does not always sound dramatic. Sometimes it sounds like, is my child using AI too much? Sometimes it sounds like, will school still prepare them? Sometimes it sounds like, what if my teen falls behind before I even understand what is happening? Yet underneath those questions, there is a deeper fear. A fear that the world has changed faster than childhood has. A fear that the old pathways may no longer lead to the same places. A fear that the skills parents were taught to trust may no longer be enough. For years, parents were told a simple story. Study hard, get good results, go to a good school, choose a safe career, build a stable future. That story shaped millions of families. It gave parents a map. It gave children a path. It made the future feel predictable. Then AI entered the room. At first it looked harmless. A chatbot, a homework helper, a faster search engine, a shortcut for writing, a way to summarize notes, a tool your teenager might use quietly, perhaps even secretly. Then the tool started doing more. It could explain, compare, translate, code, design, generate, simulate, coach, plan, analyze. And suddenly, the old question changed. The question was no longer, how much does my child know? The question became, what kind of thinker is my child becoming? That is the question parents need to sit with. Because in the age of AI, answers are becoming cheap, polished answers are becoming common. Fast output is becoming ordinary. The rare advantage is no longer the ability to receive information. The rare advantage is the ability to judge information, to question it, to test it, to refine it, to use it wisely, to know when to trust it, to know when to doubt it, to know when to say, I do not know enough yet. That may become one of the most important sentences your teenager ever learns to say. I do not know enough yet. It sounds simple. It sounds humble. It may even sound weak to a teenager who wants to appear confident. Yet in the AI age, intellectual humility is strength. Because AI can make weak thinking sound strong. It can make shallow ideas sound impressive. It can make a rushed conclusion sound complete. It can give your teenager the feeling of certainty before they have earned understanding. And that is the danger. The real danger is deeper than cheating on homework. The real danger is that a teenager may learn to outsource thinking before they have built the strength to think. They may learn to ask for conclusions before they understand evidence. They may learn to sound intelligent before they become thoughtful. They may learn to generate work before they develop judgment. That is a quiet kind of falling behind. The child still submits assignments. The child still appears productive. The child still gets things done. Yet inside, the mind may become less active, less curious, less disciplined, less willing to wrestle with difficulty. This is why the AI conversation at home needs to mature. The issue is no longer whether AI will be part of your child's life. It already is. The issue is whether AI becomes a crutch for mental laziness or a training ground for stronger thinking. That difference will shape everything. At Super Learning, we believe the future belongs to young people who can think, lead, and build with AI. That starts with the mind. Before your teenager builds with AI, they must learn how to think with AI. Before they lead with AI, they must learn how to question with AI. Before they create with AI, they must learn how to judge what AI creates. Because AI does not automatically make a teenager wiser. It amplifies the mind that uses it. A confused mind can use AI to produce more confusion. A passive mind can use AI to become more dependent. A sharp mind can use AI to become more capable. So the real parental question is this: what kind of mind is your teen bringing to the machine? Most of us think we know how to think. Of course we do. We make decisions every day. We form opinions. We solve problems. We explain ourselves. We argue. We choose. We react. Yet thinking is a little like physical fitness. Everyone can move their body. That does not mean everyone is fit. Everyone can think. That does not mean everyone thinks well. And this matters because AI is arriving at exactly the moment when many young people are surrounded by weak thinking environments. Short videos reward instant reaction. Social media rewards certainty. Online arguments reward outrage. School often rewards the right answer more than the reasoning process. Peer culture rewards looking smart. AI rewards the person who knows what to ask. This is a strange world for a teenager. They are surrounded by information, yet often lack wisdom. They are surrounded by opinions, yet may lack discernment. They are surrounded by tools, yet may lack direction. And when parents look at this world, they naturally feel anxious. They wonder, how do I protect my child? How do I guide them? How do I make sure they do not get left behind? The answer begins with a shift. Your child does not simply need more information. They need a stronger relationship with truth. That may sound serious. It is serious, because every decision your teenager makes depends on what they believe. What they believe about school, what they believe about themselves, what they believe about effort, what they believe about AI, what they believe about success, what they believe about the future. And here is the part most people miss. False beliefs do not feel false. A mistaken belief can feel just as convincing as a true one. A teenager can believe, I am bad at this, and experience that belief as reality. They can believe, I do not need to understand this because AI can do it, and experience that belief as efficiency. They can believe, everyone else is ahead of me, and experience that belief as fact. They can believe, if I am struggling, I must not be talented, and experience that belief as identity. This is why thinking matters. A strong thinker does more than collect beliefs. A strong thinker examines them. Where did this belief come from? What evidence supports it? What evidence challenges it? Am I certain or am I guessing? Am I thinking or am I reacting? Am I following the crowd? Am I protecting my ego? Am I avoiding a truth I need to face? These questions are uncomfortable, for adults too. Because the mind does something very human. It protects itself. It wants to look smart. It wants to feel right. It wants to defend what it already believes. It wants certainty, even when certainty has been earned too quickly. Teenagers are especially vulnerable to this. A teenager may say, I know, when they actually mean, I do not want to feel exposed. They may say, that is stupid, when they actually mean, that challenges me. They may say, I do not care, when they actually mean, I am afraid to fail. They may say, AI gave me the answer, when they actually mean, I do not know how to judge this myself. A parent who understands this can respond differently. Instead of turning every moment into correction, the parent can turn the moment into thinking. Walk me through how you know. What makes you confident? What would make you change your mind? What did AI assume? What part did you verify? What part still feels unclear? These questions are powerful because they move the teenager from performance to process. The teen no longer has to pretend to know. They can learn how to know. That is a different kind of education. One of the great skills your teenager needs now is belief hygiene. Just as the body needs hygiene, the mind needs hygiene. A mind can collect clutter, old assumptions, half-formed opinions, borrowed beliefs, emotional reactions, confident guesses, labels picked up from friends, teachers, influencers, or algorithms. A teenager might believe AI is cheating. Another might believe AI makes school pointless. Another might believe only technical people will succeed. Another might believe creativity does not matter anymore because AI can create. Each belief shapes behavior. A teen who believes AI is cheating may avoid learning how to use it responsibly. A teen who believes AI makes school pointless may stop building foundational understanding. A teen who believes only technical people will succeed may ignore communication, judgment, taste, leadership, and human insight. A teen who believes creativity is obsolete may stop developing their own voice. Beliefs become instructions. They tell the teenager what to attempt. They tell the teenager what to avoid. They tell the teenager when to quit. They tell the teenager what mistakes mean. They tell the teenager whether effort is worth it. So when parents worry about AI, they should also ask, what beliefs are being installed in my child's mind right now? Some beliefs come from school, some come from home, some come from friends, some come from social media, some come from fear, some come from one painful experience that the teenager turned into a permanent identity. I failed once, so I'm weak at this. I was embarrassed once, so I should avoid speaking. I got criticized once, so I should stop creating. I was slower once, so I must not be smart. AI can either reinforce those beliefs or help challenge them. It depends on how the teenager uses it. A passive teen might ask, "Why am I bad at math?" An AI may give an answer that keeps the label alive. A stronger teen asks, "What are possible reasons a student struggles with this topic, and how can I diagnose which one applies to me?" That is a better question. It opens possibility. It moves from identity to method. It turns shame into investigation. That is super learning in action. The teen learns to stop asking, "What is wrong with me?" They begin asking, "What is the system producing this result?" A teenager who thinks this way becomes less fragile. A poor grade becomes data. A confusing topic becomes a map. A weak draft becomes a starting point. A failed attempt becomes feedback. The mind becomes trainable. The future becomes less frightening. There is another skill parents must help their teenagers develop: the ability to hold uncertainty. This sounds small. It is enormous. Because many people hate uncertainty. They rush to conclusions. They choose sides too quickly. They repeat what sounds convincing. They mistake confidence for truth. They would rather have a clear answer than a careful one. AI can make this worse. Ask a question. Receive a confident answer. The answer is fluent. The structure is neat. The tone is convincing. The teenager feels relieved. The uncertainty is gone. Yet sometimes the answer is incomplete. Sometimes it is biased. Sometimes it is based on a weak frame. Sometimes it gives the average answer when your teen needs a deeper one. This is why "I do not know yet" is a future skill. The ability to pause is a future skill. The ability to say, "I need better evidence" is a future skill. The ability to withhold judgment is a future skill. The ability to hold a question open long enough for better thinking to happen is a future skill. Parents can help by making uncertainty safe at home. When your teenager says, "I do not know," resist the urge to rush in. Say, "That is a good place to start." Then ask, "What would help us know more? What evidence would matter? Who might see this differently? What are we assuming?" What would a more careful answer include? In that moment, you are training a stronger mind. You are teaching your teenager that ignorance is not failure. Ignorance is the beginning of honest learning. And this is essential because AI rewards the teenager who can ask the second question. The first answer is rarely the final answer. A weak user stops at the first output. A stronger user asks, "What might be missing? What is the strongest opposing view? What assumptions are hidden here? What evidence should I check? Where could this go wrong? How would an expert critique this?" That is the thinking edge. It is the difference between receiving output and directing intelligence. Let us talk about language, because language is one of the most overlooked thinking skills in the AI age. Words shape thought, labels shape emotion, definitions shape arguments. And when words are unclear, thinking becomes unclear. A teenager might say, "AI is bad." What does bad mean? Bad for learning? Bad for jobs? Bad for creativity? Bad when used dishonestly? Bad when used without guidance? Bad in every situation? A teenager might say, "School is useless." What does useless mean? Useless for curiosity? Useless for exams? Useless for the future? Useless because the method feels outdated. Useless because the student cannot see the connection? A teenager might say, "I am stressed." What kind of stress? Too much work? Too little clarity? Fear of disappointing someone? Social pressure? Poor sleep? Lack of control? The word is the doorway. The thinking begins when we open the door carefully. This is why parents should not only ask, "What do you mean?" They should ask it gently, curiously, without making the teenager feel trapped. "What do you mean by that? Can you define it more clearly? When you say you are behind, behind in what exactly? When you say AI helped, what did it help with? When you say the answer is good, what makes it good?" This helps a teenager become precise, and precision is power. Because AI responds to language. A vague mind writes vague prompts. A clearer mind writes clearer prompts. A vague prompt often produces generic output. A clearer prompt can produce useful thinking support. So prompting is not merely a technical skill. Prompting is thinking made visible. When your teenager writes a prompt, you can see the quality of their thinking. Do they understand the goal? Do they know the audience? Do they understand the constraints? Do they know the standard? Do they ask for reasoning? Do they ask for alternatives? Do they ask for critique? Do they ask for evidence? A prompt can reveal whether a teen is trying to escape effort or deepen understanding. A prompt can reveal whether they want an answer or a thought partner. A prompt can reveal whether they are passive or in command. This is why superlearning does not treat prompting as typing. It treats prompting as a thinking discipline. The goal is not to make teens faster at copying outputs. The goal is to help them become better directors of intelligence. Music rises gently. Now let us talk about emotion, because clear thinking does not mean emotion disappears. Emotion is part of being human. Love matters. Hope matters. Excitement matters. Fear matters too. A parent's fear comes from care. A teenager's anxiety often comes from wanting to succeed. Emotion becomes dangerous when it takes over the steering wheel. Think about a teenager receiving criticism. Their mind may instantly say, "I am being attacked." Their emotions rise. Their defenses activate. Now the feedback cannot enter. The teacher may be trying to help. The parent may be trying to guide. The AI tool may be showing a weakness in the draft. Yet the teenager feels shame, so they resist. They explain. They avoid. They shut down. A stronger thinker learns to pause before reacting. They learn to ask, "Is this feedback useful? What part is true? What part do I need to examine? What can I improve? What am I feeling right now, and is that feeling helping me think?" This is difficult. Adults struggle with it too. Yet this may become one of the defining skills of the AI age, because your teenager will receive more feedback than any previous generation, from teachers, from peers, from platforms, from analytics, from AI tools, from the market, from the world. If every piece of feedback feels like identity threat, your teen will hide. If feedback becomes information, your teen can grow. That is a major shift. Parents can model it. When something goes wrong, say, "Let us slow down and understand what happened." When your teenager gets defensive, say, "We do not have to solve this instantly. Let us first separate the feeling from the facts." When your teenager feels embarrassed, say, "A mistake is not the full story. It is a signal. Let us read the signal." That kind of parenting builds mental strength, because the teenager learns that thinking is something they can return to, even when emotion is loud. There is another force shaping your teen's mind: the internet. For a parent, the internet once seemed like a library, a place to search, a place to learn, a place to discover, and it still can be. Yet it is also a maze of incentives. Platforms want attention. Algorithms learn preferences. Feeds become mirrors. A teenager clicks once, watches twice, lingers for a moment. Soon, the feed adapts. It gives them more of what holds them: more certainty, more outrage, more comparison, more fear, more distraction, more of whatever keeps the loop alive. This means your teenager is no longer simply consuming information. They are being shaped by an information environment. An environment that can narrow their world without them noticing. An environment that can make repeated ideas feel true. An environment that can make extreme views feel normal. An environment that can turn confidence into performance. AI adds another layer. Now the teen can ask a machine to summarize the world, explain the world, judge the world, draft their opinions, write their arguments, recommend their next steps. That can be powerful. It can also be risky when the teen lacks mental filters. This is why your teenager needs Mindcare. Mindcare means being careful about what enters the mind. It means asking, where did this information come from? What incentive does this source have? Is this evidence, opinion, entertainment, or persuasion? Have I heard another serious perspective? Am I in a bubble? Am I letting the algorithm think for me? Mindcare also means being careful with AI. A teenager should learn to ask AI, what are the limitations of this answer? What assumptions are you making? What sources would I need to verify? What is a credible opposing view? What would a careless reader misunderstand? This changes the relationship. AI becomes a thinking partner. the teenager remains responsible for judgment, and Mindcare is only the first layer. Your teenager also needs mind cleaning. That means periodically examining the beliefs already inside the mind. Which beliefs are outdated? Which beliefs came from fear? Which beliefs came from one painful moment? Which beliefs came from the crowd? Which beliefs came from wanting to look smart? Which beliefs have never been tested? A teen can do this with school subjects. I thought I was bad at science. Is that true, or did I lack a good method? They can do this with social identity. I thought I was not a leader. Is that true, or have I avoided leadership because I feared judgment? They can do this with AI. I thought using AI means I am less capable. Is that true, or can responsible use help me become more capable? They can do this with the future. I thought there will be no place for me. Is that true, or is the world changing in ways that create new opportunities? Mind cleaning is not comfortable. It asks the teenager to look honestly at the beliefs running their life. Yet this is how freedom begins, because many young people are trapped by beliefs they never chose consciously. Parents can help create this culture at home. Once a week, ask one reflection question. What is one belief you changed recently? What is one thing you used to think that you now see differently? What is one topic where you might be overconfident? What is one area where AI helped you see a blind spot? What is one opinion you have that deserves better evidence? These conversations can be light. They do not have to become lectures. They work best when parents join in. I used to think this too. Now I am reconsidering it. I reacted emotionally at first. Then I realized I needed better information. I was too certain. I should have asked more questions. When a parent models humility, the teenager gets permission to be honest. And honesty is where thinking begins. There is a reason this matters so much now. AI will not only change what teenagers can do, it will change what society rewards. In the past, a student could gain advantage by having access to information. Now access is everywhere. In the past, a student could gain advantage by producing decent written work. Now decent written work can be generated quickly. In the past, a student could gain advantage by following instructions well. Now instructions can be executed by machines. The advantage moves upward, to judgment, to originality, to initiative, to the ability to ask better questions, to the ability to frame problems, to the ability to work with uncertainty, to the ability to turn intelligence into something useful. This is why the old model of learning is under pressure. The old model often asked, "Can you remember?" The new world asks, "Can you reason?" The old model often asked, "Can you follow?" The new world asks, "Can you initiate?" The old model often asked, "Can you produce the expected answer?" The new world asks, "Can you create value when the answer is unclear?" That is a different kind of mind, and it must be trained. Imagine two teenagers. Both have access to the same AI tools. Both are given a school project. The first teenager asks AI to write the project. They receive a polished draft. They make a few changes. They submit. The work is complete. Yet the teenager has gained little. They have practiced avoidance. They have practiced dependency. They have practiced appearing capable. The second teenager uses AI differently. They begin by asking, "What is the real question behind this project?" Then, "What would a shallow answer look like?" Then, "What would a deeper answer include?" Then, "What evidence should I gather?" Then, "What are the strongest counter-arguments?" Then, "Here is my draft. Challenge my reasoning." Then, "Help me make my explanation clearer without changing my meaning." That teen is building. They are building understanding. They are building judgment. They are building voice. They are building the ability to think with a powerful tool while staying mentally awake. Same AI, different mind, different outcome. This is the line parents need to see. The future will not divide teens into those who use AI and those who do not. It will divide them by how they use AI. Passive use weakens the mind. Active use strengthens the mind. Passive use asks for shortcuts. Active use asks for clarity. Passive use avoids difficulty. Active use investigates difficulty. Passive use hides gaps. active use exposes gaps so they can be closed. That is the super learning distinction. Now let us return to the parent's fear. My child will fall behind. It is an understandable fear. Yet we need to define behind. Behind in memorizing facts, AI will always have more. Behind in producing generic content, AI can produce endlessly. Behind in following old instructions? The world is changing too quickly for that to be enough. The deeper risk is falling behind in thinking, falling behind in judgment, falling behind in adaptability, falling behind in the ability to create useful output, falling behind in the ability to lead oneself when the path is unclear. And this is where parents have more influence than they realize. You may not know every AI platform. You may not understand every tool your teenager uses. You may not be able to teach them coding, automation, design, or data. That is okay. Your role is deeper. You can help shape the thinking environment. You can reward questions. You can normalize uncertainty. You can praise evidence, process, and revision. You can ask how they arrived at an answer. You can ask what they changed after feedback. You can ask what they built. You can ask what they learned about themselves while building. These questions teach the teenager what matters, because teenagers pay attention to what adults measure. If parents only ask about grades, the child learns that performance matters most. If parents ask about thinking, the child learns that process matters too. If parents ask about output, the child learns that ideas should become real. If parents ask about contribution, the child learns that learning can serve others. This is powerful, because the future will belong to teenagers who can convert learning into value. A student who learns a concept and builds a simple explainer for younger students. A student who notices a school problem and prototypes a solution. A student who uses AI to design a study system, then improves it through feedback. A student who turns curiosity into a small project. A student who teaches another student what they have learned. That is how confidence becomes real. Confidence does not come from telling teenagers they are special. Confidence comes from evidence. I tried. I improved. I built something. I handled feedback. I solved a problem. I can learn what I need to learn. AI can help create this evidence faster. Yet the teen must still choose to engage. They must still care. They must still think. They must still decide what is worth building. They must still become the kind of person who uses intelligence wisely. This is why superlearning is built around a growth loop. Think, build, share, mentor, level up. A teenager thinks through a problem. They build something real. They share it with others. They help someone else understand. Then they rise to a higher level of ability. This loop matters because it changes identity. The teenager stops seeing themselves as someone who merely completes assignments. They begin seeing themselves as someone who can create, someone who can contribute, someone who can improve systems, someone who can shape outcomes. That identity is priceless in the AI age, because many teens will feel small next to machine intelligence. They will see AI write better, calculate faster, generate more, answer instantly. And some will quietly wonder, what is left for me? The answer is everything that makes intelligence human. Judgment, purpose, taste, ethics, empathy, courage, initiative, responsibility, the ability to care about a problem, the ability to understand people, the ability to decide what should be done, the ability to build trust, the ability to use powerful tools without becoming ruled by them. AI can assist, the human must direct. AI can generate, the human must judge. AI can accelerate, the human must choose the destination. That is the new human edge. There is one more kind of thinking your teenager needs. Causal thinking. The ability to understand why things happen. Many teenagers live at the surface of events. I failed. I procrastinated. I got distracted. I got into an argument. I could not focus. I used AI because the work was too hard. Surface thinking leads to quick labels. Lazy, careless, weak, unmotivated, addicted, bad at school. Causal thinking asks a better question. What produced this? That question changes the atmosphere. A procrastinating teen may discover that the task was unclear. A distracted teen may discover that the phone is the easiest source of reward. A struggling student may discover that they never mastered a foundation. A teen who argues often may discover that they feel criticized before they feel understood. A teen who overuses AI may discover that they are afraid of starting from a blank page. Once the cause becomes clearer, the solution becomes wiser. A parent can say, "Let us understand the system." What happens right before you avoid the task? What makes the first step hard? What would make feedback arrive sooner? What would make the environment easier to focus in? What would help you use AI as support while keeping your own thinking active? This moves the family from blame to design. And design is empowering, because when a teen learns to redesign the system, they are no longer helpless inside the pattern. They begin to lead themselves. AI can help with causal thinking too. Your teen can ask, "Help me map possible causes of my procrastination." Ask me diagnostic questions one at a time. Help me identify the smallest change that could improve my study system. Help me design an experiment for 1 week. Help me review what worked and what did not. This is AI used responsibly. The teenager still owns the outcome. The tool supports reflection. The mind stays awake. Now, parents also need patience. A stronger mind is not built in one conversation. It is built through repeated moments. A better question, a calmer pause, a more honest reflection, a clearer definition, a small project, a first draft, a revision, a mistake handled well, a belief reconsidered, a moment where the teen says, "I need to check." These moments look small. They compound. A teenager who repeatedly asks better questions becomes a better thinker. A teenager who repeatedly tests ideas becomes more grounded. A teenager who repeatedly builds small things becomes a builder. A teenager who repeatedly reflects becomes more adaptable. A teenager who repeatedly uses AI with judgment becomes powerful without becoming dependent. This is the quiet work of future-proofing. It is less glamorous than chasing the newest tool. It is more important, because tools will change. The thinking layer remains. Today, it is one AI platform. Tomorrow, it will be another. The interface will change. The models will improve. The skills in demand will shift. Careers will appear that parents cannot yet name. Some old paths will fade. New paths will open. So the goal is not to prepare your teenager for one fixed future. The goal is to prepare them to keep becoming ready. Ready to learn. Ready to question. Ready to adapt. Ready to create. Ready to lead when the map changes. That is super learning. If you are a parent listening to this, your fear makes sense. You are watching the world change quickly. You are trying to protect your child from a future you cannot fully predict. You want them to be confident. You want them to stay relevant. You want them to have choices. You want them to become strong enough for the world they are entering. So remember this. Your teenager does not need to beat AI at being AI. They need to become more deeply human in a world filled with artificial intelligence. They need sharper questions, stronger judgment, cleaner beliefs, better mental habits, a healthier relationship with uncertainty, a stronger ability to turn ideas into output, a clearer sense of responsibility for the intelligence they use. AI may produce answers. Your teenager must learn how to think. AI may generate options. Your teenager must learn how to choose. AI may accelerate the work. Your teenager must learn what work is worth doing. And perhaps beneath all the fear, there is a hopeful possibility. AI may help reveal abilities the old system missed. The teenager who struggled with memorization may become an excellent builder. The teenager who hated worksheets may become a strong problem solver. The teenager who seemed average in the old game may become extraordinary when they learn how to create real value. Talent has always been wider than the system's ability to recognize it. Now the doorway can become wider if we train the mind, if we guide the tools, if we help young people think, lead, and build with AI. The future will ask your child a deeper question than, "What do you know?" It will ask, "What can you do with the intelligence around you?" And the answer begins now, in the questions they ask, in the beliefs they examine, in the tools they learn to direct, in the courage they develop to build, in the judgment they practice when no one is watching. Because the real goal is not to raise a child who can merely keep up with the future. The real goal is to raise a young person strong enough to shape it. This is Ariana Minsky, and this is Super Learning.